Here's more wrestling news for July 3rd, 2021. And your headlines for this afternoon include WWE NXT Breakout Tournament qualifying match set. Nikki Bella reacts to John Cena saying he is now open to having children. Lana claims WWE made her take the blame for leaked engagement photo with Miro. Lana takes aim at WWE's inconsistent booking. WWE wrestler enjoys smelling AJ Styles' hair during match. WWE NXT referee Aja Smith could be getting main roster call-up. Why Xavier Woods got time off from WWE. Will SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair make Bayley quit? Vince McMahon and Triple H refused to talk to Chris Jericho when he was leaving WWE, and more. We're starting today with NXT as two new names have been confirmed for the upcoming NXT Breakout Tournament. During last night's 205 Live, Joe Gacy cut an intense promo before his match with Desmond Troy, saying he doesn't fit the mold and that makes him dangerous. The former CZW and WXW star backed up his promo, defeating Desmond Troy to qualify for the tournament, whilst Andre Chase topped Guru Raj to qualify as well. More NXT Breakout Tournament qualifying matches have been promised for next week's 205 Live, and perhaps Gacy or Chase will go the distance and win the entire tournament after last night's impressive performances. Now, earlier this week, John Cena said he'd be open to becoming a father with his wife Shay, who he married in 2020. The topic of kids was a sticking point when Cena was engaged to Nikki Bella, and in 2018, their relationship ended when Nikki didn't want Cena to regret becoming a dad just to please her. When a source close to the Bellas asked about the 16-time WWE World Champion now wanting kids, it was said that Nikki wishes John and Shay the best, and the matter of children is their business and no one else's. The source added that Nikki is happy living her own life as she's now a mother to Mateo with Dancing with the Stars performer Artem Chigvintsev. Cena's career out of the ring took off in a huge way thanks to films like Fast 9 and the upcoming Suicide Squad film, and between more Hollywood projects and a rumored return to WWE, Cena may be hearing the pitter-patter of tiny feet in his home soon enough. Last month, Lana was released from WWE as the company didn't want to keep paying her lucrative contract she inked in 2019. In 2015, Lana had an on-screen feud with her real-life husband Rusev, which ended when TMZ reported that the pair were now engaged. Speaking on Talk is Jericho, Lana discussed the angle being cut and how she was made to take the blame by WWE. She said, "I got in trouble for that. I wasn't on television for 3 months, and I was on television straight for 2 years before. I was made to feel it was all my fault. I had to take the blame. And for years, I thought maybe it was my fault. For years." She added that during her angle with Bobby Lashley, she had to promise Vince McMahon to not take photos with anyone she was feuding with, including her husband. Now the real-life couple are out of WWE, and Miro is doing big things as AEW's TNT champion, and we'll have to see if Lana joins her husband's side once more in the All Elite promotion. Lana isn't the only female cut from WWE recently, as Chelsea Green and Mickie James were both let go this year, despite plans for all three women being in the works. On Talk is Jericho, Lana explained how when she was teaming with Natalya, there was a segment filmed where they interacted with Mickie James, who'd introduced the debuting Green. If you can't remember that segment, there's a good reason for that, as Lana said, "Chelsea was supposed to debut with Mickie, and we did it all. We went home, I'm in bed, and we get a call from one of the writers that they're cutting it. Vince looked at it and he went, 'No, cut the whole thing.' And we had to go back to film another backstage. All of it. Chelsea didn't debut, it was constantly weird stuff." It had been previously rumored that Green was going to debut as an obsessed fan, similar to Mickey's 2005 main roster debut, but those plans were scrapped, and after getting injured in November 2020, Green was released before she could return. Now Mickie, Lana, and Chelsea are all waiting out their non-compete clauses, and we imagine they'll all have stories of WWE's inconsistent booking process. One name WWE has actually brought back is Samoa Joe, who is William Regal's enforcer in NXT, and isn't afraid to lock someone in the coquina clutch if he's provoked first. While speaking on the Out of Character podcast, Joe was asked who his favorite opponent to lock in the devastating submission on is, and it's not for the reasons you'd expect. "I'll say AJ Styles because AJ always has impeccably smelling conditioner in his hair. It's always very pleasant for me. I get a little lavender, a little lilac with my pain and agony. Since joining WWE in 2015, Joe has faced all sorts of big names, including Rey Mysterio, Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns, but none of them compare to the phenomenal one and his phenomenal brunette locks. Now, for weeks, there's been reports of WWE main roster call-ups being imminent, but it's not just the superstars of NXT being scouted. According to Fightful Select, NXT referee Aja Smith was backstage during last night's SmackDown. Over the past couple of weeks, WWE has been trying out several NXT stars on the main roster, including Karrion Kross, Bronson Reed, Scarlett, and Shotzi Blackheart. Aja signed with the company in 2020, becoming the first full-time African-American female referee in the company's history. Most recently, Smith was praised for stopping this week's mixed tag team match when Mercedes Martinez was legitimately knocked out, and it may just be a matter of time before Smith takes her talents to the main roster. More from SmackDown next, as the Bayley-Bianca Belair feud continued this week, despite the SmackDown Women's Champion holding 2 pay-per-view victories over the role model. Having faced at WrestleMania Backlash and Hell in a Cell, this feud is at least keeping fresh with match stipulations, and with much of SmackDown's women's division keeping busy with Money in the Bank, it makes sense to extend this feud. From the looks of things, Belair and Bayley will end their program at the July 18th pay-per-view, with Belair saying she wants an I Quit match with Bayley at Money in the Bank. We fully expect Belair to get another pay-per-view win, ending her program with Bayley, and moving on to keeping an eye out for whomever holds the women's Money in the Bank briefcase. AEW news next, as Chris Jericho has become one of the company's biggest stars, becoming their very first AEW World Champion. In recent years, Jericho has said he never plans on returning to WWE, as he didn't leave on the best terms. Speaking to Wrestling Observer Radio this week, Jericho discussed how he wanted to talk to Triple H and Vince McMahon about his impending departure from WWE, only to be ghosted by the pair. He said, "Triple H kinda jobbed me out by not calling me back when he said he would, and I don't play games like that, so I was like, forget it, I'll just talk to Vince or no one else. And then, Vince never really called me either." Instead of discussing matters with either man, Jericho jumped ship to AEW in January 2019, and bar one appearance on Stone Cold's Broken Skull sessions this year, Y2J hasn't looked back since. And we're ending with Jim Ross, who also made the jump to AEW in 2019, but his time in the company hasn't gone exactly according to plan. Last week, JR referred to the company's flagship show as WWE Dynamite, and whilst the Young Bucks mocked his botch in their Twitter bio, JR has plenty of people on his side. On Twitter, Chris Jericho said that mistake or no mistake, JR is the greatest wrestling commentator of all time, and NWA Tag Champion Aaron Stevens, aka Damian Sandow, shared a similar sentiment. The former WWE head writer Brian Gewirtz also defended JR as the greatest ever, and added that when he first started in WWE, he referred to Gerald Briscoe as Jack, the name of Gerald's legendary brother. JR himself has said there's no excuses for his mistake, but that he's not quitting, and though some believe it's time for the cowboy to ride off into the sunset, plenty of people have JR's back. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.